Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
This episode is brought to you by Orgain. Orgain creatine monohydrate helps improve muscle size, strength, and power when combined with a regular exercise and weight training routine. It supports brain health, and it's certified with informed choice, so you can compete with confidence. Studies show that creatine may support brain health in vegetarians and aging individuals. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Today, well, we're going to talk about the basics of survival. Kind of where to start, but also, you know, a lot of you guys, we get caught up. A lot of us will get really heavy into one area.
Right.
Or something that's our focus. Like you're like, oh, well, I need 14 AR-15s, or maybe 15 because it's in the name.
Right.
And, oh, I need 15,000 rounds because I have 15 guns.
Right.
I need 1,000 rounds
minimum.
each. And then you're like, but I don't have any food.
Right.
And, yeah, you could shoot everything to death, but I don't know. Sometimes all that gunfire is going to scare away the critters you want to
everything's going to be gone.
You know? So, same thing, you know, you might have that. You might have security covered. You might not have the basics. You know, how many times have we talked about, you know, I gave this story way back probably in the first year of the power goes out. I'm so cool because I got the percolator coffee camp mug thing. And I go out and I put it on my my camp stove, has a burner on it. Put it on there. I'm like, I'm so fucking prepared. I'm going to be king of the world. And then I have solid beans. And I'm like, well, I don't have a coffee grinder because there's no electricity.
Right, because it's an electric coffee
and I'm like,
grinder.
damn it. So, I mean, you know, you got to test these things and whatever. But we're just going to kind of cover the basics and you kind of think about where you need to be. Now, about 2 hours after I was angry and didn't have coffee, I was like, well, I could just chop it up with a knife and put it in there, and it really wouldn't have been a big deal.
Right.
But that didn't occur to me.
Right.
Because I didn't have my coffee. I don't know if you
hadn't had your coffee yet.
You know, I mean, there's only so much I can do. So there's that. But there's a guy, Mark Goodwin. I recommend a lot of his audiobooks and stuff to you guys. He's, you know, kind of cool. And I think he has a podcast called the Recon Prepper Podcast, but I can't really make sense of it. I've never actually successfully listened to it.
Is it not good?
Either, I don't know. Either I was bored, or he only puts an episode out once a year, or he goes on hiatus for a year and then comes back. It hasn't worked out for me. Maybe you guys have had better luck. Maybe you'll, you know, report back. But either way, he talks about, if you go to his website, if you just search Recon Prepper, he's got a 7-step survival plan. So step 1 is body, mind, and soul. So if you're a Bible thumper, you know, your soul, that you could kind of think about that. Like, you know, if you're straight with God, I guess you really don't have anything else to worry about, right?
Are you sure that he's not talking about, like, funk music, like George Parliament?
Because you
George
do
Clinton
need, like,
Parliament?
a good stack of the P-Funk.
Yeah, I feel like,
you know,
that's important.
You know, one of my go-tos.
Why else would you have a generator?
In my EMP, my Faraday cage, right? I have an iPod with freaking the theme song from Shaft. Right there, dude. That's how you're good. Because you're like, oh,
Get your soul in.
You know, because people, they haven't heard the radio in, you know, a year and whatever, and I come walking in.
Isaac Hayes.
Sir,
got backup music.
Isaac Hayes. Yeah, exactly. So, but body. You know, how often do we neglect our own fitness? That's a big thing, being in shape.
Right.
You know, if you got to go hustle to go get water, to go get anything, that's going to be
Yeah, I feel like if
big
there's
deal.
ever any real massive emergency, we're all going to be a bunch of sore motherfuckers after the first couple days.
I think that's accurate. I'm pretty sore now. So, you know, hey, one of the things, like, all right, so imagine you let your body go, you get all fat, whatever, you're lame. All of a sudden you're on medication, you got like high blood pressure, cholesterol, all this stuff going. Now, I always tell myself, well, there won't be any food. I'm going to get skinny quick. Everything's good.
Right.
You know, I used to watch Survivor, the TV show.
Yeah.
I didn't like watch it. I mean, like I'd be dating somebody and it'd be on TV and I saw 2 or 3 episodes. And I'm talking about way back season 1, right? So I'm in the Navy
Right.
back
This
then.
is
It's a long time ago.
The origins of reality TV here. This is way back.
Yeah, way back. Yeah, exactly. And so you'd see they'd have these like skinny fit, look like personal trainer people. And then you'd have guys that were a little chubby and a beer belly.
Yeah.
And you go like 3 weeks on this show, and the skinny waif ones are like laying around going like, oh,
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
energy. I can't move. And then the guys who have the beer bellies and stuff are all starting to look pretty good.
Right.
And you're like,
Right.
oh.
They're
And they're like ready to go, you know?
Still fine, right. And you know what I noticed, though, in those episodes? Those girls would get skinnier and skinnier, but those fake boobs just stayed the same size.
As a win for
Looks
everybody.
so bizarre after about 3 weeks or
They were
so.
bizarro boobs.
Yeah.
All
It was
right.
just not normal looking.
All right. So, I mean, again, a couple extra pounds. All right. But you need to, you know, overall be in reasonable health.
Right.
Because you let your body go where all of a sudden you're diabetic, you're insulin dependent.
Got a bad
you're
back, got
different
bad
things,
knees.
bad knees, bad back from being overweight. You know, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And that stuff really matters. And it's something you got to take seriously.
Yeah. And you got to challenge yourself physically periodically.
Your
you know?
body is definitely something you got to take seriously when it comes to prepping. Another thing that I'll throw on the end that apparently he overlooked, maybe he counts it as mind. He's got mind.
Right.
So I would say training.
Yeah.
Learning how to use your firearms, learning your bushcraft skills. And again, these things that we're talking about right now, they're all free.
Right.
You don't need money. So you're like, oh, Chuck, you know, you're talking about, you know, spending a lot of money on a year's worth of survival food and whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? You knock out bushcraft skills that you can learn free on YouTube. Mm-hmm. You learn some firearms training. You learn fitness,
hunting, trapping,
trapping.
running, fitness, all that sort of stuff that you can pack into your brain counts a lot.
Counts a
You know,
lot.
that's 50% of your preparedness right there.
You know, I mean, I talked to all these guys, and this was something that just came up, but they'll be all about, you know, going to the range, and they'll burn through 500 rounds or whatever. But guess what? If you're sitting at the range and you got your gun on a rest and you're shooting at the target, after about 10 rounds, you're only improving yourself by fractions, you know, of a percent of your skill. You're not helping yourself. It's not, I mean, yeah, being familiar, going once a month as opposed to not going once a month, yeah, that's helpful.
Right.
And shooting 50 rounds. But shooting moving targets, shooting under stress, doing different things, these are the things that are going to actually change your ability.
Right.
Learning the muscle memory of the quick draw and things like that. You know, going from or dealing with malfunctions.
Right.
You know, how to unjam your gun. You know, having, I'll take a magazine and I'll put, you know, in New York, we'll say 10 rounds for the magazine. And I'll give Kevin and I'll say, look, here, take this, you know, dummy round and put it in at random.
Right.
And I start shooting and then, oh, quick. But how quick do I recover from that?
Right. And, you know, I noticed a big problem with me originally when I first started shooting was that I was flinching. And what I started doing was use those dummy rounds a couple of times and realized how bad it was. I was flinching when I pulled the trigger, not flinching from the recoil, but preparing for it, and then fucking up because I'm a pansy.
Wow.
You know, you have to be calm and collected with each shot, you know?
So those are things you can start out. Now, number 2 he has is budget. And I got to say, I don't think that's wrong to be the next step. So now, obviously, you can work on a lot of these things together at the same time, simultaneously. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm working out this week.
Right.
That means I can't buy some extra food or hit the gun store, whatever. No, that's just stupid. But, so there's Gordon Ramsay. I don't know if you guys have heard him back in the day. Has, I think he has podcasts, some books, whatever. Is it Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah.
Is that the right name?
That's the guy, yep.
All right. So he used to have the big idea of, you know, you buy what you can afford. And he'd talk about, you know, if you don't have money, then you don't spend money. And, you know, everybody's like, well, yeah, but I need new tires on my car. Well, guess what? Maybe you don't drive your car, or maybe he's like, drive with the bald tires and deal with it until you have a little bit of money, because you're putting yourself so at risk by not having a little security blanket. Now, this depends on the world you live in. You know, some places $500 you can pretty much solve any problem with. Some places that number is $1,000, and some places that number is probably $3,000. Basically, you should be able to at least go buy a used car with whatever your stack away money is.
Right.
Now, I know here we could buy a used car for $1,000. It's not going to be a great car. It might only last for a year, but it'll get you out of a pinch where you can save up. So here and in general, I like to think of that number as $1,000. You should be setting aside $1,000 as your emergency fund.
Right.
Now, like, you know, you might be like, well, I have the credit card, and if I need something, I can use the credit card for $1,000. And right now, I'm just trying to pay down credit card debt first. Yeah, that's a gray area. The Ramsey guy, he'd be like, you know what?
Free.
Get your $1,000 and then pay off your debt, because you're always going to be like, well, I need to use my credit card again. And you're always going to get back into it.
Right.
But whatever. Either way, you need to build up a little cushion.
Yeah, and I'd recommend, maybe not everybody would recommend this, I'd recommend $1,000 in cash.
Yes.
Someplace, not in a bank account.
And it would not be in a bank, because I don't know if you guys have ever read a prepper survival novel, but you can never go to the freaking ATM. And guess what? September 11th, when the damn cell phones didn't work, the banks and the ATMs didn't work in New York City either.
Right. And a lot of people were fucked because they had
They
all
were
sorts
fucked.
of money.
And they're like, I got to
and they
get out of
couldn't
the city.
Get it.
But I don't have any money.
Right.
And that's a problem. And, you know, all the stuff was down to use your credit card and things like that. Set a little money aside, and that's what. Next, step 3, he's got bug out bag. Now, you had a little bit you wanted to talk about bug out bags, right?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about bug out bags. Now, we did a show on bug out bags. Maybe that was a while back. Maybe we should do another bug out bag episode in the future.
Revisit that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of having a bug out bag, keeping it packed, and using it.
Now, I would say more important than straight bug out bag, and these may coincide, and you're like, oh, well, we're talking about the same thing. But I would say a get home bag first.
Yeah. Yep.
Have something in your car, a little go-to. And we've talked about get home bags. I don't really want to get into too much detail on this. But you know what? You should have 1 to 3 days worth of food. You should have some water. Should have a blanket, some kind of shelter. I've definitely, you know, I mean, if we were getting crazy, I'd tell you about water filters and purification and having, you know, shit. You could have night vision in there. You could have freaking handguns, mace,
Right.
you know, whatever. But just having a simple get home bag is a huge start. I gotta say, having like an extra sweatshirt for your kids or whatever when they're crying. Dry pair of socks. I think we mentioned in the past when I used to work at the sewer plants or whatever, I used to keep a spare, boots and a pair, change of clothes.
Change of clothes,
because
right.
you never know. And if you're
Shit
caught
happens
in the
when
winter,
you work at a ship plant.
yeah, there you go. So there's that kind of stuff, but you need an extra set of clothes. You need maybe bug spray. Because, man, could you imagine having to walk home 20 miles in a crappy bug season and you're walking through the woods?
Yeah.
That's not going to be a pleasant time.
Yeah.
These are the kind of stuff. Maybe some sunblock, you know. But
I always keep in my bag, I always keep wool socks, a couple of pairs, and I put them in a Ziploc bag so they stay dry. They're not going to soak up any moisture. Having dry feet is a big deal when you've got to make some distance on your feet. And also a pair of walking shoes. Not everybody wears sneakers every day or work boots.
Said boots, but yeah, it's something you got to be able to get home in.
If you're going to be going through the woods, maybe boots is a good idea. And if you work in an office and just have whatever shoes, they might not be great.
I got to say, my number one thing I would spend money on when I'm like, I need to be more prepared, would probably be the get home bag.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like the biggest emergency that you can't solve any other way.
Right.
And that it's going to be nice to have. Because now right away I have extra food. Even if I'm at home, there's extra food in my car I can go grab.
Right.
But, because you're really screwed if you get stuck in your car and you're there for 5 days buried in snow and you have to eat your Taco Bell packets.
Right. If you can get your bottles of water out of there and
some warmth out of there.
Right. Get some protein bars.
It's going to make a huge... that
business,
sounds like the most important number one prep.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to say, next would be, if you can't afford, you're not like the handgun guy or something like that, maybe the little pepper spray. That's $20.
Yeah.
I know my wife has that in her get-home bag as well as in her purse because she doesn't want to do the handgun, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
This is your next step,
Yeah.
And again, you use your level of comfort and also your budget.
Right.
Maybe your budget doesn't allow for a handgun.
Right. And if you're also, any sort of self-defense weapon should be a weapon that you're willing to use. If you're not super excited about shooting somebody,
right,
you might not hesitate as much to mace somebody.
Maybe pepper spray.
Yeah.
So, something to think about. And then we and Kevin have to point out that nunchucks are legal in New York now.
Yeah. Yep.
You might just want the nunchucks for security.
Yeah.
And you should be able to get into a decent pair of nunchucks for like $20.
Right. I was doing some shopping around with them.
Yeah.
And you can get a decent pair for $19.99.
Okay. So, hey, we're putting options out there. Now, do you have anything you want to add to Bug Out Bag right now, or save that for another?
I think the only thing I would say is have some paracord in there.
I like paracord. Now, if you guys don't know, this is a kind of beginner prepper episode. So the Bug Out Bag is, you know what? Everything's gone to crap here. I can't stay in my house. I need to go, at a minimum, be able to live in the woods for 5-6 days, or at least be able to travel to get where I'm going and live in somewhere. That's what a Bug Out Bag is.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh crap, I need something, or I'm not going to make it. I got to go now, and now I'm lost in the woods by myself.
Right.
So,
Bug Out Bag should be ready to go. It's a ready-to-go bag, pre-packed, and all you have to do is grab it and go.
Now, his step 4, I think he was trying to go with the everything starts with B.
Okay.
So we had body, budget, Bug Out Bag. Number 4 is beans.
Beans.
Now, beans are cool because let me just make it beans and rice. Now, in his 7-step survival plan, I don't want you guys to think less of him. He expands on all these, tells you exactly what he means. I'm just using this as kind of a jumping off point to kind of, get us on track. But, so beans and rice, these are things you can buy a lot of belly-filling calories for very cheap.
Right.
And, you buy the big bag at Sam's Club of some dried beans, and some rice, you're spending very little money, and you can stretch whatever's in your pantry right now out for 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And that's pretty huge.
Yeah. I've got a list of foods that are good for shelf life and for your wallet.
Right. Now,
Go ahead.
before you go, but what I would say is, so my thought is when it comes to money, I would do a get home bag, and then I would move into this. Some limited, at a minimum, 2-week food, long-term food as the starting point.
Right. 2 weeks. What I would think when I say 2 weeks,
For your
2,500 calories per person per day.
Yeah.
That's what you need to think about. Pasta and jars of spaghetti sauce, cheap. You can feed a lot of people.
And you don't need to go buy it today. Guess
Right.
what? You can wait for Price Chopper or whatever to have the freaking, 10 for 10 sale where, go buy 10 cans of spaghetti sauce for $10.
Mm-hmm.
Or I see 10 jars of peanut butter for $10.
Yeah, peanut butter is
that's
a great
huge
one.
calories. It's protein. It fills your belly. It's got the fat that you need also in that,
Mm-hmm.
stressful time.
Yep. When it comes to canned stuff, soup, tuna, canned chicken, which is, I don't know, seems a little gross, but I don't know that I've ever actually eaten
It's
canned
nice
tuna.
to
canned
enhance
chicken.
other things.
Right.
So when you're doing pasta and sauce, and then you throw in the canned chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And now I know you're like, whoa, chicken and spaghetti? I don't know if that's... But they do it. I think chicken parm, right?
Yeah, you're all right. You're fine, man.
It's okay.
Vegetables, canned chili, ramen.
Now, I don't eat vegetables normally. Should I
Well,
be stockpiling
I've got
vegetables?
an aversion to canned corn. I feel like my mom just put canned corn in every meal that I ate as a child. She said, this is regular meatloaf, but I add canned corn. Now it's Mexican meatloaf because corn meant Mexican, right? See what she did there? Little culinary tip.
Nice.
Another thing just to keep in mind, a lot of people that are listening don't have a huge yard, don't have a lot of space, but you can dig up a 4-foot by 4-foot section and just plant a couple of tomato plants. Now you're saying, oh, a couple of tomatoes aren't going to make a big difference. What I'm thinking, though, is if you can grow a couple of tomato plants and an emergency hits, a long-term emergency, you can make that 4x4 section bigger, faster, and you know what you're doing now.
Well, definitely we've talked about the having a start, knowing how to garden,
Right.
and knowing how to garden in your area, in your yard.
Right.
You know what's going to come up as far as pests and
Right.
and
You don't need to be
temperatures
completely
and
self-sufficient
seasons.
on your garden, but you need to be able to know what you're doing so
I'm
you
with
can
you on
be.
that, but also having some fresh food changes your vitamin content and your nutrition overall, keeps you from getting the scurvy and the, so that might be a little better than your freeze-dried crap, whatever. Now, it's cool. You can stockpile like your Centrum or whatever, your bulk vitamins, and that's great, and I don't think that's wrong at all, but those actually have a shelf life that really deteriorates in quality pretty quick.
Right.
I say pretty quick. You're good for a year, but you're not really good for 5 or 6 years. They're not really lasting.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. Any more on food?
Yeah, well, I've got a little first aid here thing here with vitamins in it.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw that in there with food instead.
I like that.
It's just one of those things that if you're eating, if you're eating rice and beans, might be good to get some extra vitamins in there,
I love it. No, that's right. But you should also be picking out kind of healthier food. But these are the starting points.
Right.
This is the basics. Long-term food storage, we've done episodes on it. And there are ways to really expand and get hardcore. And yeah, I want you to buy, the long-term supplies. And I want you to have a year's worth of shit.
Right. And that freeze-dried food is great, but it's expensive and you can't stock your whole
That's not your starting point.
shelf. Right.
Now, if you're the guy with the unlimited budget, hey, you know what? Your starting point should be 2 weeks supply for every member of your family with long-term food storage. Do that. I'm just trying to go with, hey, not everybody's got extra cash.
Yeah.
And
I just started thinking about prepping, and I don't want to spend my entire budget on it right off the bat.
If you just started thinking about prepping, odds are you're not sure you want to commit a crazy psycho budget to it.
Right.
You know, you're like, this may not even be a thing. And all your friends are going to be like, you just dropped $3,000? Are you insane?
Right.
And that's, and I'd rather you drop the $3,000 at the gun store.
Yeah.
Just because I feel better about it. You know, whatever. That's
Right.
just me.
Right.
Now,
Guns are a lot more fun than food, but
but food comes
food
first.
you actually
all day.
you actually can live off of food. You can't eat bullets. Well, you can.
can talk
You can
about
only
it.
eat one.
Lead poisoning, it doesn't end well. Yeah, you can eat it another way. So it turns out number 5, bullets. Starts with a B. Now, I would recommend you buy a gun before you buy bullets.
Well, yeah.
Because that's just awkward when
Baby
you're
steps.
like,
throwing shells at people.
So the food came first all day. Don't even think about a gun until food is taken care of.
Right.
And like I said, I'd like to see you have a little cushion in your financial budget before you save up to buy a gun.
Right.
I find
Yeah, I think you'd be better off with $1,000 in cash than a gun and no cash.
yes. It's weird. I talk to people. New York's tough. You don't see a lot of used guns. And the thing is, we're not allowed to sell guns like privately in New York. I don't really know about other states. I think most of them you can.
Yeah, most states are same.
And you go to your neighbor, your dad, and be like, hey, you have that old shotgun. How about I give you $100 and you're good? That's great if you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I go into our gun stores here, I look at the used stuff and it's usually sloppy crap and I can buy the right thing for less.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's garbage. But if you bought like a Maverick shotgun, you're somewhere under like $199. I think you're like $149. And that's basically the generic version of Mossberg.
Right.
So think like Epiphone is to Gibson with guitars, or I don't know what else.
I would say
Like a
that,
Mana is to Whirlpool on your washing
there
machine.
you go.
Is
There
that
you go.
the analogy
All
you'd
right.
like? Whatever.
I would say a great starting point would be a low-cost shotgun, because you can keep a lot of motherfuckers out of your house with a
Yes.
shotgun.
And I would say the low-cost shotgun and 25 rounds of buckshot.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
So you're talking about like $26,
Mm-hmm.
and you got that, and you're set. Now, again, this is beginning prepper, starting point. And again, you got your food squared away, you got a little savings squared away. Now we're out, we're buying the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd like to see you move into a Ruger 1022, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. That would be my step 2. And then
bazooka.
we'll get into the AR-15
right.
world.
Right.
Then we would get into the maybe handgun world. Then maybe a long-range shooter like a, some kind of sniper type rifle, maybe a Remington 700. Now we're getting away from ourselves a little
Right.
bit.
Get back
Now,
to starting prepping.
I also would say, if you're like, oh, well, I'm going to go out and buy 15 AR-15s, do you have sights for those 15 AR-15s?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, well, I have an AR-15. Obviously, I bought sights. Well, maybe we should have bought some more quality optics first and little better.
Yeah, before you started going
15.
up to before
You know,
getting your
around
your,
6, you need to start
start thinking
start
about
thinking about better
diversifying.
optics.
Yep.
And so you need to work it in there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then night vision, thermal.
Mm-hmm.
I understand ATN has a thermal scope that was 2700, and now they have a LT version, a light version that is $1,300.
What?
Now you're seeing hogs in the nighttime.
Ooh, I didn't know about
I'm
this.
just saying, that might be
Ooh.
something you want to get
getting
behind.
chills.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, step 6 is bullion. And what he's talking about there is silver coins and gold.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Uh-huh.
Not a huge fan of gold and silver.
Really?
I'm just not. I feel like a lot of people are going to be hesitant to take your quote unquote gold coin that they don't know if it's gold or not.
All right. Well,
Everybody recognizes a 20 though.
They do. Yeah, but what is that going to feed when whatever? Here's the deal. I was big when I first started this podcast and when I first got into prepping into silver coins.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, silver, it's very, tradable, whatever.
Right. Not super expensive, but it's
a substantial amount of silver.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the pounds, not ounces kind of neighborhood.
All right. Excellent.
Whatever. But I got to say, not really what I would spend my money on.
Mm-hmm.
This is what he recommends. I'm giving you some other insight from, people outside. I would probably, if you're worried about financial collapse and that's really your focus, I probably would get some silver.
Mm-hmm.
I would do like American Eagle, something that's easily recognizable.
Right.
Any of these, other minted stuff, yeah, you can buy it cheaper. But, it's hit or miss on whether people are going to accept it. And then it still is going to have lesser value to trade. Even if they understand it's silver, they know for them to get rid of it, they might have a harder time.
Right.
So that's something to consider. I wouldn't get crazy with silver, but that's something, to me, I like to invest in precious metals, and I call it lead.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
Lead.
precious metal.
That's right.
AKA bullets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to consider there.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to bullion, I think any tradable currency that you think is going to be valuable long term,
Yeah.
I think is something worth holding on to.
Yep. No, and then he his last one is base, and honestly, it's like a 60-page document, and I didn't really want to skim through it and find what the hell he's talking about.
Well,
is that the homestead?
Let's say
Or
shelter.
we're gonna say we're building up the homestead.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's talk about your shelter.
All right. What do you
All
got?
right, let's say you are planning on bugging in
Yeah.
or setting up your bug out location. So, the four things you need to really think about is your shelter weatherproof? Do you have shutters? Do you have, functioning shutters, I mean? Do you have a door that's secure, that is not going to easily be kicked in? Do you have, windows that are lockable and defensible? Are you going to have fucking leaks in your roof in the next 3 months,
When was When was the last time you had your septic tank pumped out?
Another good point. Because remember, you can flush your toilet by pouring some of that water you've been saving in the back of your toilet. Because there's certain amount of times that you can use that toilet without flushing it, but eventually you got to send it down.
You gotta send it down.
If it's yellow, conserve your water. If it's yellow, let it mellow. But whatever. How about heat? Do you have a fireplace? Do you have a kerosene heater?
No.
Do you have a propane heater?
Having a backup heat source. I mean, I've had it happen to me where the furnace goes out.
Yeah.
The electricity's out and I don't have a furnace.
You have electric baseboard heaters, they might be out. You have a furnace, same thing, might be out. You might have a full tank of kerosene and no way to use it.
It's a big, uncomfortable problem when your family's freezing to death.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to just walk away from your house and be like, well, I'm going to go to my brother's that's a half hour away and they'll have electricity. Well, yeah, that's maybe cool, but then all your pipes are going to freeze. Mm-hmm. And it just gets awkward.
Yeah,
so
things
having
get
a
ugly quick when
kerosene
you do that.
heater
Mhm.
or some kind of indoor propane heater, they have like a Mr. Heat or something. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But there are
there's a
options.
million different options.
Setting your house up with a wood stove, these
Mm-hmm.
things come in later. And also, is your vehicle ready? Do you trust your vehicle that you could jump in at any time? What does it cost you to keep your gas tank on the top half instead of the bottom half all the time?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same amount of money after the first week.
I got to tell you, I preach about this, and every time I get in my wife's car, it's like she's got the little digital count out.
Yeah.
It's like 15 miles.
You got a mile
till
to
you're
go to
out.
empty.
What? I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, how ready
I feel
are
like
you?
she gets down to like 3 miles left, and then she puts a gallon in there.
Yeah.
And it gets down to, come on, man. Why don't you start at the top end and do that?
Right, and just work off the top. It's better for your fuel pump, the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Drives me crazy. But, I mean, what am I going to do?
Well,
You know,
that's
it's
it.
just
You
this.
can't tell them anything.
All
It's
right.
been my experience.
How about electricity? You could solve a lot of your problems if you had working electricity at your house. What's your generator situation? Can you get a generator going?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can function pretty well off of batteries.
Right, but
What's
you're
your battery
getting a little
situation?
past beginner prepper there.
Well, I'm talking about buying AA batteries for your flashlights.
All right, we'll start there.
How about your kitchen?
Okay.
If your electric's out, can you cook food? If
Yes.
you've got a wood stove, you can cover 2 of those with one
I
stone.
like that a lot. Wood stove. What about, do you have a grill with a burner?
Mhm.
Now, do you always have an extra propane tank next
That's
to your
right.
grill?
That's one of my other big things that I get super
I
excited
can
about.
honestly say I am actually good because I actually found a guy who has $8 now. It was 10 last time I did an episode and talked about this. $8 propane tank refills.
Is this the guy right up the street here?
No, how's he?
I thought he was 12, so he must be a different
yeah,
guy.
no, my guy over in far away by your office.
Okay, all right.
Anyway,
Well, I've got a couple
$8.
of empties.
$8, and I'm like, ooh. And what I did is I actually had Kevin hit up a trailer park and scored me about 10 nasty looking propane tanks that were all rusted through.
Right.
I went up to Lowe's and swapped them out one at a time every
Right.
time I needed one. And now I refill those brand new fancy tanks.
That's right,
And
buddy.
for $8 a pop.
Yep.
And I do actually have like 6 full ones sitting in my house.
Yeah, I got the same going on
Now
here.
I'm afraid my house is going to blow up, though. I'm like,
What are you gonna do,
they're
man?
right
You can't-
outside the window.
You can't plan for everything.
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to have them up by my shed, and then
Put them out a
the,
little
like,
ways.
the woods people are going to come and take them. And
Yeah,
I don't know.
Take them away. The forest people. You always got to worry about them. The forest people and the mole people. Damn.
Exactly, and the lizards,
The lizard people, reptilians.
reptilians.
Always steal my propane. Damn reptilians.
All right, we may have got off task a little
All
bit
right,
there.
all right. So, as far as kitchen goes, you can get a little camp stove. You got a grill. Maybe you don't have a grill. Whatever. Even one of those cheap little charcoal grills is better than nothing. If you have no other way to cook anything, at least you got that, and you spent. You can get one of those grills for $20.
And maybe somebody wants to get you something for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, hey, it'd be cool if I had a little grill.
Mm-hmm.
And your mom says, like, well, I do love you. And then, mom always has a
Mom
little-
always comes through. I'd
So-
recommend one of those little Coleman camp stoves, though. Just make sure you've got the little propane tanks you can screw in there, and you're in business for months.
They last, yeah.
They hold up.
All right.
And it's I actually, when I go on long-term camping trips, I bring those with me.
Or when you forget to pay the electric
Or
bill.
when I forget to pay the electric bill. I've got
or
that.
choose
I'm
not
set.
to pay the electric bill,
Yeah, 'cause
whichever it
I
is.
hate those sons of bitches.
All right. So, I mean, that's the gist, though. You make sure you're spreading it around.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about real quick is
First aid.
first aid and water.
Okay.
Water. You can just go and buy some of those gallon jugs, those 5-gallon jugs, whatever it is you want to do. They're easy, cheap,
I like
last
the water
for a long
bob.
time.
That would be pretty soon.
I
in
know
my
Chuck's
early prepping.
excited about the water
Water
bob.
bob.
Yep. Let's talk about first aid real quick. What does your medicine cabinet look like now? What kind of shape are we in? We need to kind of take stock on that.
I always think I have everything, and then somebody will come over and ask for something, and I'll be like, "Well, I don't keep that."
Yeah.
Like aspirin.
Mhm.
I'm all like Tylenol and Motrin.
Mm-hmm.
There's no aspirin,
Yeah.
and somebody's like, "Do you have aspirin?" That's what I can take, and I'm like, "Oh." Like, now I have aspirin, but it's
Right.
probably like 3 years expired. Because who the
Mhm.
fuck takes aspirin?
Yeah. One thing I'd say is, obviously you want to have some antiseptic. Some sort of, you get a cut on a rusty nail.
They used
whatever.
to sell wound wash, and they don't sell that anymore.
No?
No.
That's basically just
So
saline, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in like a forceful spray. It's
Okay.
kind of nice.
All right. Gauze. Gauze are good. I've got gauze, and I've got the little Mickey Mouse Band-Aids
Nice.
when I get a little boo-boo.
My first aid's pretty well stocked, but the way I actually got there was funny. I started with like some like $20 Sam's Club, nothing thing.
Right.
But then like every week when I'm out buying groceries, I'd buy like a $5,
$5
like
item.
Steri strips,
Right.
Or gauze pads, the big pads to stick on there, bacitracin, another tube or whatever. And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go on Amazon and I'm gonna freaking buy I don't know, Quick Clot or Quick Clot gauze.
Right.
Quick Clot gauze is a whole new level, dude. That's another thing.
Are you going to have a big nasty scar if you use it, though?
I don't know, but it's awesome. You just plug that hole. You just keep
Just
stuffing
keep stuffing
it
in there?
It's awesome.
Uh-huh.
But so no, now I have like the $150 trauma bags and different things like that. But that's stuff that I got at training or whatever over the years or
Right.
different things. They're like, oh, this, or I buy a quality tourniquet or something like that. But just steps.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ordering a book off Amazon. I threw this other, first aid stuff in my wish list, and I'm going to get that too, or something like that. But just keep building with steps, but start in increments,
Right.
And after you get your 2 weeks, keep your priority. I mean, I think once you get past like the $1,000 savings and you're paying off your debt or whatever, then you start, really hitting the, double up on the food.
Right.
Now it's 4 weeks for everybody. Now it's 2 months for everybody, like that. And then, all right, now we can afford to get another gun.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can get a little extra ammo, or whatever. But you do it in stages. But you make sure you're kind of evening it out. Don't get too heavy in one area. Unless it's AR-15s, and we'll talk about it. And, I'm just saying.
Yeah. We got another AR-15 show at some point. I think brewing here.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yep. Now, do you remember the Sky Penis?
Yes. Tell me about the Sky Penis. I had T-shirts. I don't know if you guys cashed in on that.
Yeah. Do you remember? I don't know if you were on the Facebook. I'm sure you remember.
Chuck with his stupid Sky Penis.
Right. U.S. Navy jet drew a penis in the sky with contrails.
Out in Washington State.
Mm-hmm. Washington State. Now, I'm going to read a quote from KREM2. That's a radio station out there. A mother who lives in Okanagan, Washington.
Yes.
Who took pictures of the drawings.
They were artistic.
They're artistic. Drawings reached out to KREM2 to complain about the images, saying she was upset she might have to explain to her young children what the drawings were. Now, obviously, there's always somebody that's got to be upset about something. Like it's everybody else's fault that you got stupid kids.
Could you imagine if she fucking listened to this podcast?
Oh, her mind would explode. Jeez. I'm telling you. So anyway, we got down. We did a little research. Everybody, the mystery is solved. We figured out what's going on.
All right. What happened? He was drawing figure eights and then, like, his plane lost control.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
He was like, oh, it hit afterburn or I don't know what. And no.
All right. So,
is this going to be in the new Top Gun
EWO
movie?
said to the pilot, draw a giant penis. That would be awesome. That's a quote from his commanding officer. You should totally draw a penis. I could definitely draw one. That would be easy, the pilot said. I could basically draw a figure eight and turn around and come back. I'm going to go down, grab some speed, and hopefully get out of the contrail layer so they're not connected to each other.
That's smart.
They theorized on the second order effects of the nascent sky drawing. Dude, that would be so funny. See the Navy lingo there? The jargon?
Yeah. I like what they did.
Airliners coming back on their way into Seattle, just this big, beeping giant penis. You could almost draw a vein in the middle of it, too. I swear, this is legitimate transcripts of the conversation they're having. I'm not making this up.
She should be happy they didn't draw the vein.
They didn't draw the vein, right. All right. Balls are going to be a little lopsided, the pilot advised. Balls are complete. I just got to navigate a little bit over here for the shaft. Which way is the shaft going? The shaft is going to the left, the pilot answered. It's going to be a wide shaft.
It was
this goes on. I'm not going to read anymore because it gets even more graphic.
Oh, whoa, we don't want to offend people.
So this was in prep for the Army-Navy game.
Yes.
And I feel like the Navy won.
The Navy always wins.
That's right.
Now, here's my thing, though. Do we not want our pilots testing our skills with new challenges?
I feel like it's important. I feel like that's... If you're not pushing yourself to your limits, if you're not doing new things, you're not learning.
How do you think we got freaking Bin Laden?
Mm-hmm.
It's not because they're fucking around drawing Snoopy or something.
Right?
You got to be cutting edge.
Uh-huh. The only thing that would be better of those pictures of Bin Laden after he was shot would be a giant sky penis in the background.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Splatter against the wall, and then outside the window, there it is. A shiny moon right above a sky penis.
Sky penis.
Exactly. So, that's a thing.
Yeah, just keep in mind that there's always room for sky penis. Big part of our American culture here, and I feel like these pilots are being punished unjustly.
Yeah.
I say free them. Let them go. Let my people go.
Nice. Now, another bit of whatever, maintenance, news, whatever we got to deal with. Apparently, you guys in the Prepping Badass Facebook group, one, you're probably pretty excited about the knives coming up.
Yes, sir.
There's some things there, some pictures, little teasers, if you will. But there was a little roughness in the conversation. And at first I was like, oh, whatever, people do what people do. And, we're all willing to help out each other. But then things escalated. And then Kevin's like, all right, take that shit out of there.
Yeah.
And so whatever problems or concerns you have, hopefully they've been solved for the future.
Right.
We tried to be tolerant.
Yeah, I want to say that there's only one rule to that Facebook.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. And if you're being a dick, you might get kicked out. And I really hesitate to, I'm a dick.
Right?
So, we have a lot of... You can push me pretty far.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can push us pretty far, and we're going to let a lot slide. But at a certain point, we got to do something.
There's other Facebook groups for other things.
Right.
Whatever. So, that's all I'm going to say about that. You guys... So, we do have a really cool Facebook page and Facebook group. The group is Prepping Badass. Check that out. Actually, if you search survival prepping, I think it'll come up. The Facebook page and then the group, whatever. What else we got? We got Patreon. I don't know if you guys really appreciate these quality episodes. You guys, you feel you want to help out, support us, maybe get a Prepping Badass patch.
Yeah, you'll notice that we don't bombard you with 10 minutes of ads every episode.
I want to in the future, bully you, but we haven't done it yet.
We've
had your back.
We're holding out. We're holding out as much as we can.
We've been going for years now with commercial-free, quality content.
If you want to get a hold of us,
I'll throw a bone to TAC Pack.
We
do that.
Yeah.
But it's a nice commercial. I'm not slamming you with join Audible.
Right.
Or whatever.
Whatever it is. 1-800-FLOWERS.
We should get an Audible code. The way I'm always telling people to buy audiobooks.
That's a good point.
You know what? Next week there might be an ad.
We do sell audiobooks all the time.
So maybe we should get back on that. We'll get back to you on that one. But if you want to support us, Patreon's a great way to do it.
Yeah.
And actually, back to the Facebook group, we do have some cool Prepping Badass knives coming out in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be, I'm sure I'm going to mention it here, but that's another way where you're going to see them come up for sale and
yeah, you
sort
can support
that out.
things that way. Also, if you want to show some support, you can just leave a review or shoot us an email. preppingbadass@gmail.com. I actually read all the emails that come in.
He reads them. He's a little slow to respond.
I sometimes respond within a week or so.
Yeah, sometimes it takes him a week. And it's not usually, like, what's weird is they'll pop up on our phone and we'll be like, oh, we got an email. This guy wants that. And we get all excited. Like, actually, today's episode.
This was from James. Yeah,
was from James requested.
From earlier this week.
You guys need to tell me how to get started. And here it is, James. Nailed it.
This podcast is
We may
for
not
you.
have responded to your email, although I think you might have. I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
But we sure as hell responded to your request.
That's
the
right.
thing. We'll get there. Usually it's like I'm like driving or working or something, and it'll be like, oh, James says this, and I'll be like, yeah, that's really cool, but I gotta work.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done with work, I'm like, oh, yeah, I gotta give him. And you don't want to just give somebody like a bullshit response.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, great.
Like
Thank you.
when you write to your congressman and they send you that form letter back.
Exactly. We try and give it some thought, but that takes a little time to where we can get to that. So just something to think about. Also, speaking of no commercials, you guys probably don't know about TacPack. They are shipping out the May, which I think has some sights that might pay off for my 14
Nice.
AR-15s.
Nice.
So there might be something in there. You guys don't want to miss on great things happening like this, and I hear good things about June. They're sending out some emails. I just know they say keep your sights on this pack. I think June they say something about fire, but they might say something about fire also in May. I don't know. It all blurs together. But the bottom line, you use the code BADASS when you sign up for TacPack, and they're going to send you a gun cleaning mat. Now, TacPack, what they do is they basically take like $100 worth of product because they're able to buy in bulk. And then you're paying $49.95 a month and you're getting that $100 worth of shit. And you're like, yeah, but I can't pick out what I want. But dude, half the time I get shit I didn't even know I needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I slap that in the gun and I'm like, damn, now I'm cool. And every month I got something new to look forward to. Plus, I can usually steal shit out of Kevin's box before I give it to him. And then I have two fucking awesome things. So I'm just saying, TacPack might be right for you. But with that, stay safe, and we will talk to you guys next week.
So, you've looked at the mainstream media, you've realised that only at best half of what they tell us is the truth. You decided you want to take you and your family's life into your own hands instead of relying upon other people. That's led you down the path to become a prepper. You might not like the name, but at least you know where you are. So, what is my advice for a new prepper? My advice for a new prepper is this: keep your options open. Before you decide you want to go and buy this pack or that pack, this knife or that knife, that firearm or this crossbow or whatever you're going to do, you need to make the most difficult decision first. And you need to be 100% sure that the decision that you make, that first decision, is the best. Not just for you, but you and whoever you live with. Now that decision is a tough one, and it may take time, but the more time you spend thinking about options about this question, the less time you're going to spend money buying things for something that you don't need. Now, what is that question, I hear you ask? It's quite simple. Are you going to bug in, or are you going to bug out? Most people think to themselves, well, I'm not going to stay in this building, fuck that, I'm off down the woods. Well, how far are those woods away from you? Okay, it's walkable for you. So if it's walkable for you, it's walkable for other people too. Are you going to get there now and find there's no one there, but are you going to get there in a situation and find it full of people? If it's full of people, you're not escaping the problem. You're confining the problem. So think to yourself, do I live in a block of flats, in a condo? Do I live in a high-rise building? Or do I live on a farm? Do I live in the middle of nowhere, or do I live in the middle of thousands of people? This is all going to affect your decision whether to go out or to stay in. Now, maybe you are in a suburban area, just on the outskirts of a town, a large city or a town. You might have a garden. Well, think to yourself, is that garden viable to build a little bunker? All you need is a door, could be a manhole cover. No one's going to put up a manhole cover if there's shit going on down everywhere, is there? They're not going to be sitting thinking about the drainage system. They're going to be sitting thinking about what I need to survive. So, sit here and think about it. Decide to yourself what you're going to do. You're going to bug in, you're going to bug out. If you're going to bug out, think about this. You might be able to hike those 20 miles to the middle of nowhere in the dark with no head torch, just by moonlight. But can your partner? Can your partner and your kids? What is your situation? That is what you need to think about before you start thinking about buying anything. What is viable? What is doable? That's what I would say to a new prepper.
The Survival and Basic Badass podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.